Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 528 of the Juicebox Podcast. On today's show, I'm going to be speaking with Warren Moore. Warren is Vice President, Walmart Neighborhood Market Pharmacy Operations, and he's here to tell us about ReliOn Novolog Insulin, which is now available at Walmart. What this insulin is may surprise you. If this is your first time listening, please subscribe or follow in a podcast app. If you're looking for the Diabetes Pro Tip series, you can find them beginning at episode 210 in your podcast app or at juiceboxpodcast.com or diabetesprotip.com. While you're listening today, please remember that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan or becoming bold with insulin. Today's episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by Touched by Type 1. Touched by Type 1 is an organization focused on helping people with type 1 diabetes. You can learn more about them at touchedbytype1.org or on Facebook or Instagram.
Hello, Scott. I'm Warren Moore, Vice President of Health and Wellness at Walmart. Happy to be here with you today.
And I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you. I took a shot that I knew somebody that I could get to you, and it worked. And I'm sometimes amazed when it all works out. So I'll tell you that when it kind of came up, right? So I'm in an interesting position that I'd like to explain to you. So when I saw the press release about ReliOn Insulin coming out, the first thing I thought was they already have insulin, right? It's like, it's a different kind of insulin. It's, I hear people say certain things about it. And then I listened a little closer and I realized that this was a thing that I had kind of knew was going to happen for a while. You're basically just selling Novolog, but it's called something different now. And I thought, how are we going to explain that to anybody? And what happened? So I thought we could get together and ask a couple questions. Can you tell me first a little bit about ReliOn and how it got started and what its aim is?
Yeah, ReliOn is our private brand at Walmart. And so how you think about as you shop in our stores, probably the biggest private brand that we have that people look at is great value. Mm-hmm. And so within our health and wellness space, ReliOn is a label where we put products out, both OTC and so over the counter, as well as pharmaceutical products. And it's under our private label. And it allows us to lower the cost so that we can lower the price. Mm-hmm. And it helps our customers save money each and every day.
Now, do you manufacture your own products, or is the whole brand just kind of repackaged something else? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, are you buying it from a corporation that's already making a thing and it just gets this new kind of facelift, or how does it work? Or is it from product to product? Does that change?
I think for the audience today, it's, for as we think about Novolog, it is the actual product that Novo Nordisk produces. And so we were able to come together in a partnership and do that. And we're grateful for that partnership that we were able to come together to lower the price. So I would say, Scott, as you think about the ReliOn brand as a whole, we continue to have conversations and understand what's the right way to make sure that we bring products to market that are quality as well. So we never sacrifice on quality. And as you think about insulin around this, we wanted to make sure that, again, FDA approved exact product, but we were able to bring our assets and in partnership with Novo Nordisk to lower the price.
Okay. Jumping to just something randomly different, like a test strip, for instance, I'm assuming you sell test strips. Is that something that Walmart makes, or is it the same situation where it's a product from somewhere else and it's kind of rebranded?
It's partnerships, and so as a company, we use partnerships that we have underneath that produce for us under private brands, just like with all, I would say most private brands, I should say, within the industry. What we do is the ReliOn product brand has become one that our customers can trust. So you mentioned OTC. You can go to our stores today. You can buy a 50 count box of test strips, and you can get a meter, both for $9. So you can start testing your blood sugar for $18.
Wow.
Again, we don't sacrifice quality. So we make sure that everything goes through the right approvals, the partners we have. And we believe that it's so important to make sure we do it in that way in order to increase access and affordability for all of our customers.
So that's part of it then, right? The idea of getting to populations that would not normally have access to these things to begin with.
Yeah. At Walmart, we'll say equity is really at top of mind for us. So you take where our stores are today. So we operate, when you look at Walmart and Sam's Club, we operate over 5,000 pharmacies, and actually 90% of the American population lives within 10 miles of a Walmart. And so what that does for us, because we have stores that reach rural and metro areas, we have a lot of our stores that are in medically underserved areas as defined by HRSA, which is a subset of HHS. And so we're able to, in these communities where individuals struggle to have access to quality, affordable healthcare, they can get access to a Walmart or a Sam's Club. Okay. And then in there, we also have great pharmacists that are there, that know the community, that are part of the community, that can answer questions and be a part of that healthcare continuum. So we believe that that we're positioned here not only by the lowering the price, our footprint allows us to reach the communities and really increase access and equity. And so we're happy that we're able to touch that many customers across the U.S.
That's amazing. Okay, so what this insulin that you just started selling now, what are you guys calling it?
It's called ReliOn Novolog Insulin. Okay. So it's underneath our brand, and Scott, one of the things we haven't talked about is really, the price savings that are associated with this.
Yeah.
For a vial of this insulin for the ReliOn Novolog, it's $72.88 versus the branded price of $174.
Wow. So almost
for a box.
Geez, it's $100 off, right?
Yeah, that's $100 off. And then when you get into flex pens, we do the flex pens as well. The price is $85.88, and the national branded price is $337. So Jeez. You got $251. So you're talking 58 to 75% savings, respectively, on these products that we're bringing to market.
Can I ask you the kind of a backroom question to this? Is there something about, are we avoiding the insurance process? Is that how the prices go down, or are you able to buy it directly from Novo at a lower price? Like, I don't understand how that. I think what I'm thinking is that most people listening aren't going to understand how that could be, and I'm trying to find a way to explain it to them. You're laughing.
Well, Scott, Scott, I would say that it's one of those things. Obviously, how we go to market first. It is the first ever private branded analog insulin on the market. So it is unique. And so we were able to bring that to market. I would say, without getting into the nuts and bolts of it, it's really through the partnership with Novo Nordisk, and then us bringing our assets together to lower that cost. We have focused on the cash paying customer, because we know that there are a lot of people today that still don't have insurance, that really are challenged by the high prices of insulin. And so we've been able to partner and remove that cost, and again, pass it directly on to the customers. And what it does is allows those savings to be used for things like healthy foods or everyday household essentials. So we do take your insurance. So we take all major insurances within our Walmart pharmacies. And what you can then come to Walmart and understand that, whether you use your insurance, and this is one that is prescription. Mm-hmm. So when you run your prescription, if you have insurance, we will give you the lowest price your insurance does. And if you don't have insurance, you can see these savings of $100 a vial or $250 for a box. And we believe that that's going to revolutionize accessibility and affordability around insulin.
I would say so. So the real struggle here is to get out to people. This is why I asked you to come on, because in my mind, this is the real struggle, is to get to people and tell them, if I'm holding a vial of insulin from Walmart that says, ReliOn Novolog on it, and I'm holding a vial of insulin that says Novolog on it, I am holding the same thing, right down to the molecule.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, and I happen to know that's true with this announcement. It feels like something probably people couldn't believe, and I'll have to tell you that some of the questions I got really, like, I'll tell you, they might even make you chuckle because you're so aware of it. But someone asked, "Is this FDA approved?" Like someone said, "Would you give this to your children?" Like these were the kinds of questions I got because that was the type of fear that this is not the same thing that other people, I'm making air quotes, other people with insurance are allowed to have. But it's the exact same thing. And I went to my wife, who many years ago worked at Novo Nordisk, and I asked her about this, and she said, yeah, this has been in the making for quite some time. And I was like, okay. She's like, it's the same stuff. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'm going to have them on to talk about it then. So it's not a generic. It's not. See, people's fear are going to be that you guys are now bathtub pharmacists over at Walmart, and something's going on generic, and you're making a generic of it. This is coming right from wherever Novo Nordisk is making Novolog. They're making your insulin as well.
Yes, yeah. That is correct. And one of the things that we talk about, whether it's with insulin, whether it's with generics. So you think about us as a company, we've had a history around lowering the price and saving people money so they can live better. Mm-hmm. It goes back to, like you said, we've had a ReliOn suite of products that have been there. We've had our $4 generic list, which again, FDA approved, same manufacturer go into any other generic that you would get for your blood pressure or your cholesterol. And so this is an extension of that. I will say this too, Scott, I am a former, I guess we'll say, white coat pharmacist for Walmart as well. And so been with the company now 19 years.
No kidding.
And I have always had respect for my peers and the pharmacists we employ in our company. And I think a lot of people got a chance to experience it even more than during this COVID vaccination run that we've had. And so, our pharmacists have been an important part of the continuum. They will do. And by us, we talked about being in medically underserved areas. Not only do we want them to have reach from immunizations, reach from being a part of the community, we need to give them, products that can help remove barriers like ReliOn Novolog Insulin, that again allow them the suite of services at their fingertips to be able to offer when they talk to the patient and their doctor around their care. We want to give them the tools to do it. And so, yeah, we know that. That's why we want to come on and continue to tell that story, that this is the exact same product, that we are not changing anything. We're just in partnership with Novo Nordisk able to bring this to market. And again, an exclusive offering at Walmart.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you did, because as you're talking, I looked up at someone's question, a very earnest question. Have you made a change to the product so you could price it lower? Is there less volume? And that's I know the answer is no. I'll let you say it out loud in a second, but I think it really is indicative of what happens when you tell somebody, I can give you something cheaper than you have been able to find it before. Is this a pure, speaking of volume, is it because you're going to buy so much of it that it can be cheaper? I mean, I guess you're not allowed to tell me exactly how you guys work the prices out, but I want to do something for people's, because it's hard. Like, I love what you're saying. But I think it's hard for people to hear and then just swallow, like, oh, you just want to do a nice thing. But it's a bigger idea at Walmart, right? Like, you guys kind of get a bad rap a little bit. Like, you said something earlier about being what'd you say? 90% of Americans are within 10 miles of a Walmart or something like that. Is that what you said? Okay.
That's right.
And so I think it's easy when you're involved in something. Like I'll speak for the people I believe are listening to the podcast. Like, people have access to technology that is cutting edge. They mostly have insulin. They have insurance. This is a side of the world I don't think they know exists very much, that there are people who are, maybe unable to follow simple basic orders from their doctors because they can't afford any of this stuff. And it's really lovely that it's being handled like this. Can I ask, do you have a basal insulin? Like, did you work with them to try to get a basal insulin at a lower price as well? Is there any plans for that?
Scott, as we think about that, I would say that we are always looking as a company for ways to continue to innovate. And so we're open to conversations with others who are looking to do the same. And when you mentioned a minute ago around Walmart and how people experience us, I often say that if you could be in our walls and really listen to how much we truly talk about making that flywheel work, how do we lower costs to lower prices to serve Americans every day, people will be astonished. And so it's not a game, it's not a gimmick, it's who we are in our DNA. And so with that history that we've had, with a desire to continue to innovate, we will continue to look forward to new solutions so our customers can access their care, they both want and deserve. And when you think about making diabetes products affordable, and the more choices that we can have, when patients get with their doctors again and get with their medical team, we know that each individual responds uniquely to different therapies and treatments. And so we want to have the largest suite of services that we can for our customers. There are 3 million people who live with diabetes who trust us every month at Walmart to serve them.
Wow.
And so we will continue to do our best to innovate and bring solutions to market.
Do you cover a wide range of health insurances? Like, can you think of a company who you can accept, or do you accept? How does that work?
Yeah, we accept all the major insurances across. So any of the major ones that you can think of, from the Blues, et cetera, we accept those. And so bring your insurance in. We say that we have a app. I guess I can talk about the company, how easy it is to do business with us too. We have a Walmart app where people can go on and create a profile, and they can request to transfer their prescriptions to Walmart. That way they can come into our stores. We talked about the proximity within communities, so they can come into our stores and visit us at the counter and meet our great team. We have drive-through pharmacies in a lot of our locations, especially our neighborhood market locations, as well as some of our super centers. We do curbside. So we started standing up curbside during the pandemic. So if an individual don't want to come into the store, we can bring it out to your car, and we can also mail it home. We do have mail orders. So we try to make it easy. We're trying to serve. We're trying to make sure that this is seamless. You can interact with us in different ways, how you choose. And what we want to do is be able to meet those. And so we're striving every day to do just that.
So you do mail order too, then?
Yeah. We have a mail order form. Now that one is based off the insurance contracts we have, but we also are able to, at times when an individual can't get out, to actually mail it from our store to the home as well.
Okay.
So we hope that innovation and things like that continue as the rules and regulations change. Is more, we become more of a digital experience within healthcare as well. But yeah, we're able to mail it. We're literally looking for ways that we can strive to meet the needs of our customers in the way they choose to shop with us.
So at your pharmacies, if a person has type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, you have everything they would need. It's not like I got to get this cheaper Novolog from you and I got to go somewhere else. You have it covered.
That's correct. We have it covered. And so whether you're type 1 or type 2, we talked about we have a $4 generic list, and our $4 generic list has been on the market, gosh, approaching 15 years. So we have items like metformin on there for $4 and a 30-day supply. We talked about ReliOn Novolog. We have human insulin as well. We have the OTC, so we have your test strips, your meters. We have your glucose tablets and your alcohol wipes, right? Yeah. So yes, you can come to us. And then when all else fails, if you have questions, you can come to our pharmacy counter and talk to our pharmacists, who will be happy to help answer the questions.
Okay.
And we want to be that destination. And we strive each and every day to live up to the trust that our customers put in us.
Well, I have a question that just popped into my head that I haven't told anybody I was going to ask you, because it just occurred to me now. But I'm sitting here thinking, if you got this accomplished, there must be other things you're trying to get accomplished too. Insulin pumps, glucose monitors. Are you not allowed? I know you're a publicly traded company, right? But like, why don't I ask a different question, a different way? That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it, Warren?
Scott, you are. I will say that we really are in the thralls of our health and wellness strategy, and again, trying to bring things that I would say really promote equity within the system as well, because that's what one of the things that happens here is when price gets involved and people can't afford their products, or whether it's medication, whether it's daily essentials, they make choices, and we want to make sure we're thinking about communities, we're thinking about people in the communities, and we're doing it in ways that are sustainable. So when we come to market with products like this, we don't do it and they stay around for 1 or 2 years. We keep them around. And so that'll be our continued focus as to how we can bring forward solutions in ways that are sustainable, do them in ways that promote equity. And when I say equity, we're considering, where people are starting in life and what do they need in order to achieve their best possible health outcomes. And so, yeah, we're up to quite a bit as a company, and looking at the whole suite of healthcare and doing it in a ways that again promotes trust, that people understand in these communities, where there are health deserts, that we can play a part in people achieving their best outcome.
You could have just said we're up to quite a bit. I would have accepted that as an answer. That was great. No, it just occurred to me, like, you went to a large company, you took a product that is out of reach for some people, and you brought the price lower. Why couldn't that happen with an insulin pump or with anything else? Like, obviously, whatever the business function that goes towards making that happen, I don't see why that couldn't happen for other things as well. So, I mean, you're doing it with, like the other stuff you're talking about, test strips and things like that, right? So, that's exciting. How long does here's a question for you, maybe you can answer. If we were all sitting in a Walmart meeting today, and I said that out loud, no one had ever had the thought before, and we all agreed that's a great idea. From having that idea to bringing more affordable products into the store, how long of a process is that?
I will say, as we think through process, there's always puts and takes around each decision. As we think through, Walmart Inc., we make decisions and net out obviously the portfolio to do the right things for the consumers, as well as then back to us, right? So we can continue to keep that flywheel going. So I would say, that process would depends. I would say what you have to have in that, Scott, again, are willing partners to come to the table. You have to have people who are like-minded and trying to really save money, and then willing to disrupt the market. And so it takes process, it takes work, and it takes trust in these relationships, and so I would say that timetable depends on that.
Yeah. So this thing about the Novolog insulin that we're talking about right here, it's not a one-way street for you. Like, you had the idea, but they had to be willing, is what you're saying too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that price? So the price, it's tough when everybody has different insurance. I know you can't just speak in a blanket way, but cash price, tell me again for a vial.
Cash price for a vial, $72.88.
A box of pens?
$85.88.
Versus what the cash price would be for someone who doesn't have health insurance. But then I might hand my health insurance card to you, ask for a vial of this insulin, and find out it costs me $20 or $10 or $40. Like it could be less than the 72 depending on my insurance.
That's correct. So because this is by prescription, we will run it through your insurance, and we will make sure that the individual gets the lowest price. So that's what makes, the insurance. You probably could do a whole segment on that one, Scott, the different insurances. But yeah, we wanted to have an offering. So if someone has insurance and they're paying a copay that's lower, great. We want to continue to make sure that you're compliant on it, that you're managing your care the same. But for someone who is challenged with again, the price and the economics of taking care of their condition, we wanted to have an offering there as well. So again, you can come in and say you're going to get the lowest price because based on what your insurance allow you, if it comes that way, or if the cash price were the lowest on the market. And so you can come there and trust that you'll get that.
So if a person is hearing this and thinking, well, I buy Novolog and I pay this much for it, I don't know how this is going to go. Can they call? Do they have to come into a store? Like, how do they find out if this is a valuable decision for them to make? Like, I think it's obvious for people who are paying cash, this is just a no-brainer. But if I'm in that other situation, how do I find out if this is a good idea for me?
Yeah, for people who paying cash, obviously they can come call and do that. For those with insurance, we will at this point need a prescription to process it. Just based off how we do, we don't run test claims that way. So we have to bring it in, have a prescription to it. And so I will say that's the price. If your copay is less than the cash price, you won't pay that, you'll pay your copay. But if you're paying it or you're wondering how, it'll be, this cash price will be there. And then, again, come and talk and as you're there, I would say experience our team, because I think it's the whole suite, Scott. It's not only having, quality of medications at low, affordable prices, but it's the care you get from your pharmacist there. It's the things we have in OTC. And so I think that's what gets me excited, is knowing that our teams are out there talking about it. Our teams get a chance to interact with customers who may not know. And so if you have any questions, I would say, I say everyone can call in. So even if you have insurance and you want to know more about it, call in, speak to our pharmacist. Okay. And we'll be sure to answer your question.
Okay. And so if I were to put my script through and I thought, oh, this isn't any better, you just wouldn't fill it and I would just keep doing what I was doing. It's not like something I would get caught up in if it wasn't what I wanted.
No,
okay.
Obviously not. Yeah. So the patient's in control of where they get it filled at. We believe that if you come to us and give us a try, you'll love our team there. But yeah, no, we won't keep it. We won't take it hostage or anything. We will just ensure that we answer all your questions.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure I had everybody's questions covered. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that I should have?
No, Scott, I appreciate the opportunity. I think that what you're doing here to bring on, to dispel any myths about the incident there, we appreciate, and we're out doing the same thing, and want people to know that just who we are as a company and what we're trying to do. And again, it's been a part of our history there. It's who we are. Excited about this. And I would say, we talked about the price of it. The other thing is we're excited about, as most people here know about analog, though, we're excited about, you understand the duration and the peaks better and the action on it. So it makes it great for mealtime dosing. We also have mix as well. So it's exciting. Thanks for bringing it on. Happy to join you here. Happy to at what you're doing for the audience here, and look forward to future conversations if they come up.
I would be lovely. I just realized that, I mean, there are other insulins that you guys sell, right? And it's, within the diabetes community, I don't know if you're aware of this or not. So within the diabetes community, prior to this announcement, the term Walmart insulin meant it's a cheaper insulin. It doesn't work as well. Like this is what they're selling. And I just thought, like, I don't know how they're going to get over this hump in people's minds, that, and it's cool. Like if I'm guessing, it was probably the insulin you were able to make a deal with somewhere and get it in there. And it was probably a really big deal for the people who are using it. I would think it's amazing for them, especially if they couldn't find anything before. But I couldn't figure out how people who already were thinking of it in that light were going to be able to make the leap in their minds that, no, this is Novolog. And I just didn't know without talking to you how to do that, because I've seen articles that explain it perfectly. And yet every time I hear from somebody, they say, oh, that's insulin you don't want. I'm like, no, I think they've done a whole new thing here. Like, let's figure it out. So it was very kind of you to come on and talk about it. I really do appreciate it, especially on a Friday afternoon, because, we're winding down here.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, and I'll say the last thing on that. One of the things that I don't want individuals to walk away thinking that even our human, so we're talking about analog today, but even our human insulin is in partnership with Novo Nordisk as well. So help people understand is what you can trust. The big note is that people shouldn't switch between the two. Of course, if you're on an analog and a human insulin without consulting your physician. Yeah. And so that's the message there. But know that, anything that we bring to market will be FDA approved quality products that you can trust. And but this one, this analog insulin is big. Yeah, it's unique, and we're excited to be able to bring it to market.
Listen, for people who've had diabetes for a long time, they know that there's been, insulin and then improvements on insulin. And analog is the fastest acting, it's the best you can do right now. Like it just is. And it gets into that kind of, you start hearing people say, well, just because somebody can't afford it doesn't mean they should have the last generation of insulin. And that's where that sort of gets, I don't know. I think it riles some people up, and maybe rightfully so. Right. But that's not a Walmart conversation. It's a state of the world conversation. Really. It's a bigger, more existential conversation. I just love that you guys have this analog now, that it's not a generic. It's not, you didn't meet 4 guys in Arkansas and they said that they could make insulin. Like this is the stuff, So if this can be the stuff, and it can be, my rough numbers are slightly over $100 less per vial cash price for just the vial. And what did you say? How much cheaper for the pens? $250?
$250.
Dear God, that's a lot of money. Okay. All right. I'm glad you're here. This is fantastic. Thank you. What else you guys got over there? I might come over.
We welcome you down when there's, hopefully it's, we don't get too much further in this pandemic, but if you ever want to come down, we welcome you down to Arkansas, Scott.
Oh, wait a minute. I randomly said Arkansas. Are you actually in Arkansas?
I am.
Oh, you thought I knew that.
I thought you...
I just picked a state out of my head real quick. I wanted people to realize that you didn't bump into 5 guys that were like, we can make insulin too. That it was coming right from the place. How did I pick Arkansas? That was random.
Because that's where I thought you knew. Yeah, that's where we were based.
You know how I picked it? This is crazy. I just put an episode up with a Razorback that just got drafted. That's how, I went from one computer doing that work to turn to talk to you. And that's where I got, and there's a picture of him in front of me, and he's in an Arkansas Razorbacks. Wow, the mind's a crazy thing, isn't it, Warren?
Yeah, it is.
And then you're in Arkansas. But that freaked me out. Okay, that's enough of this. This episode's over. I really appreciate Warren coming on the show today and explaining about the new insulin at Walmart, ReliOn Novolog. Same molecule, same insulin, same size, same stuff. Different cash price. check it out at Walmart. They're not a sponsor, by the way. They didn't pay me to be here. I just thought this was amazing information for you to have. I hope I was right. Before we go, let me tell you again about Touched by Type 1. Their mission is to elevate awareness of type 1 diabetes, raise funds to find a cure, and inspire those with diabetes to thrive. Touchedbytype1.org. Also on Instagram and Facebook.